Okay.
We mentioned.
Okay.
Join me. You're leaving me.
We ready?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Like Mother, Not Like Daughter podcast, where we share conversations of womanhood that bridge the gap from one generation to the next.
Our hope is that this podcast sparks honest conversation within families that will strengthen the family bond.
I like the way you do it, baby. Let's be honest about it. There's a way around it. I like the way you do it, baby. Let's be honest about it. There's a way around it. I like the way you.
I'm one of your hosts, Jen Rodriguez.
And I'm Carolyn Little.
Welcome back to our second episode, affectionately titled, I'm Not One of Your Little Friends, Lessons on Friendship. Now, if you grew up in a black household like I did, you heard this phrase a lot. I'm not one of your little friends, right? Especially if it came from your mother.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Usually that statement was used to separate the friendship nature in motherhood and of motherhood from being a mama, right? So they said that so that they understood, so that you understood, I'm not one of your little friends, so don't treat this relationship like a friendship, right? But today we are discussing friendships in general because they are so important to our journey in womanhood and our journey as women. But they're also some of the most complicated relationships that we have. And there's a lot to dig into, especially as you get older. Now, there's all types of friendships, right? There's associates, there's coworkers. You might have people say, you know, I'm your friend, or you might introduce to people as your friend. But we're talking about the true, genuine art and practice of friendship.
So today we'll explore friendship and womanhood and important lessons that we've learned from our mothers on how to become good friends, identify friends, as well as being a good friend. Now, back in my day, a good friend would be one that you could just borrow things from. They would tell you like it is. You know, they didn't hold anything back. They were like your ride or die. And I had this one friend of mine that, you know, she told me one of her darkest secrets. And one of her secrets was she called me and she said, hey, can you come over to the house? And I was like, yeah, sure. Soon as I walked in the door, this young lady said, I'm pregnant.
Ooh.
Wow. So I was like, well, what did your mom say? She said, I haven't told my mom. You're the first person that I have told.
Dang.
And I was like, that's what I said. I was like, dang. But eventually she did to her mom, you know, and I wasn't there. But that just goes to show you how friends are. Sometimes they want you to be that first one to know their darkest secret, to confide in you. So that's real friendship there.
That's real friend. I feel like I just kind of got this thought. They're almost like your first responders.
Oh, yeah.
In a sense. Like, you know, how when there's an emergency or something going on, you have that first responder, that those people that you trust to kind of come and be the rescue or whatever. Like, friends really can be and sometimes are that first responder. Yeah. That's pretty deep.
That is deep.
Yeah. So one thing me and my friends always talk about is just how hard it is to kind of continue. And this is really common in my generation, but it's hard to find and keep friends as an adult. For me, I moved around a lot. So I was switching cities very often. Yeah. And as soon as I kind of got used to some people and had a few friends, I would then move, and naturally we would lose touch with each other. Yeah. So there's very, very few people that I actually consider close friends of mine that have lasted over probably more than 5 years.
Wow.
Which has been crazy, but honestly, it's just due to losing touch.
Yeah.
But one thing that has helped me understand the complicated nature of friendships, and I'll never forget when you told me this, is understanding that friendships have seasons.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Every friendship has a reason, and some of them have a season that's a little longer than others, and it may not last forever. Like you know, like they show in the movies. You may not have that one friend you can call over with a big tub of ice cream when you went through a breakup, and they bring you flowers. So like, girl, get up. Like, not everybody has that. I wish I did, but not everybody has that. And like any relationship, identifying a good friend for you is really where it starts. So
yeah. And that's because, you know, seasons in our life, they're important. And every season comes to an end just like anything else. And so sometimes, you know, it's important to know when to let that person go. Yeah, and some friends can go into the next season, of your life. But as females, women, we like to hold on. We like to hold on because we have invested so much in friendships that we like to hold on and don't let go. So that's one way of bridging this gap. Like in my generation, we had friends that followed us through college and followed us through when we got married. Man, my best friend and I, we stuck together for so long, and she had passed, but she was my ride or die through pregnancy, through high school. We were going to go to college together. And so sometimes you do actually have those friends, but anything that's worth investing in is worth keeping through any season.
So I often wonder really like what is that generational difference or maybe the difference in values that have your generation be able to keep long lasting friends that, have been in your life for forever. Whereas with my generation, it's the same with honestly like relationships, like romantic relationships. It's like the first sign of trouble, the first sign of trauma, the first sign of imperfection. It's like you're kind of out and you're done. And I wonder if it's more so like a protection mechanism. Again, we're like in this season and this generation of unlearning so much that sometimes at the first sign that something isn't working out, or the first sign that something doesn't feel good or what have you, we just automatically go to protect rather than really learning how to overcome those obstacles together. Do you feel, what do you think? What do you think causes your generation to have these long-lasting relationships, whereas with mine, it doesn't seem to be very common? Just again, from what I've heard from my friends, is it that we move around a lot and you guys were more stable? Like what? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, it's probably both. Being stable in your community, again, you grow up with your neighbors. Like, man, my neighbors, I think maybe one is probably still there, even in my old neighborhood, maybe two.
Oh, wow.
That are actually still there. And so, you grow up and you hang at each other's homes and you're in that same neighborhood, the same street. The mom is watching out for you. The dad is watching out for you. It is different. And growing up, with you all and moving might have played, a little bit in that separation, not having those close friends. But I am a stickler that, especially now, and then here's another thing, social media has a lot to do with that whole
Facts.
Connection and disconnection.
Facts.
And so for me, we didn't have social media. We didn't. We just had the telephone and the friend, and you're down the street, we're going to go play, that type of thing. And even as you grow older, we walked to school together, we came home together, we ate at each other's homes. So it's a lot different, than it is now. And the other thing is that we didn't have phones to distract us. We had to communicate. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have phones. We played. We had toys. Even growing up, we did our homework together in high school and things like that. That was our form of communication. We didn't have phones where we were sitting on the phone, scrolling. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
But what we had was, you do your homework, I'm doing my homework. Let's discuss our homework. That camaraderie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really help build those bonds like that. So it's just a different season. It's a different season. It's a different day. So, but again, the person that you want to invest in the most would be the one that you would take through every season of your life. It is an investment. But I do believe even now there are friends that I have that I stay connected with. I call them, I text them, how you doing? How's your week going? I'm going to make sure that I stay connected to people.
Absolutely.
So that's building true friendship.
That makes sense. It sounds like to me, it really just it's about intention.
It's about intention.
Like social media does make things really, really easy to escape and to do what you're interested in, and just to find like you're getting fed. Literally on your feed, you're getting fed what you like and what you're interested in, and what you do. It's like your social media becomes your BFF rather than you investing in other people who might disappoint you and maybe bring other things that you're not so interested in.
Yes.
So I can definitely see how intention plays a part, especially when you have a community that you build.
You got it. It's all about community.
All right. So I have to ask, Mom, what do you think a good friend is?
A good friend is really that ride or die. And I really can't say that enough. They are the ones that are with you through the ups and the downs, the good and the bad, the ugly. They are really they are those people or those friends that actually put you in a no free judgment zone.
Mm-hmm.
They don't judge you. They're just there for you. They correct you. And you know what? I learned who my true friends really were during your dad's death. There were some people that I thought would be there for me, and they weren't as much as I thought they would have been. So I'm learning still in different seasons that it still brings different friendships. And it's okay. And it's okay.
Same here, honestly. Same here.
Yeah.
Through dad kind of passing and, when he was sick, everybody was there and texting and sending positive messages. But now that everything's kind of done, I don't see those people, or I don't hear from them as often, or, in the beginning it was pretty heavy, but now sometimes I can't even get a text back. And I'm just learning how not to be offended and how to just say, you know what, people have their own lives. So just how to move on and live mine.
Yeah.
Boom.
So let's dive into some hot friendship topics and see where we can bridge the gap. Because it's important that we always walk away understanding more about each other, and also make sure that there's a confident outlook on building your own ideas on friendship. So Jen, here's a question for you. Do you have a best friend?
Ooh, I do. Outside of my sisters, because my sisters are just naturally my best friends. They are. But outside of my sisters and outside of my brothers too, I'm not going to leave out the bros. I do have a best friend. And when I think about a best friend, I think of someone that I can call no matter what.
Yeah.
And this person has been with me and walked through me, and they know who they are, but they've been with me and walked through me through so many different phases of my life. I've known them for like maybe 20 years now at this point. We have similar backgrounds. Her parents were ministers or maybe are ministers. And, it was just nice to have someone that I could go to for not just encouragement or for a sounding board for wisdom and natural things. She's older than I am, but this is someone that I can go to and know that I'm going to get fed spiritually as well. She's going to drop the word. Like there's been times where I've gone to her just crying about situation, and she's like, do you not know who you are? You are a daughter of the King. Like, Jen, you are awesome. You are amazing. Like, she's not just gassing me up, but she's like, this is what God says about you. Like, do you not see who you are? Like, she really causes me to take a step back and look at myself differently, because sometimes we really do see ourselves a lot more lowly, I guess, than other people do. And I think that's just a humble nature that I have. But sometimes you do have to be like and boss up and be like, look, yes, I am the stuff. I am good stuff. I come from good, what did Uncle Kenny say?
Stock.
I come from good stock. I was raised well. You know what I mean? And I'm kind. I'm generous. You know what I mean? Like there's just things that are true about myself that I'm not perfect at, but that I know I work on. And she is someone who reminds me of those things, but she also reminds me of what God has to say about me. And even though we don't talk often, like I want y'all to know, we don't talk every single day.
No.
That's not what makes her my best friend.
Right.
But she is somebody who I know I could call, and if I needed her to, she'd find a flight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She'd fly herself out. She'd be like, let me go on up there. What I need to do, because
that's true.
My sis needs me, and I'm going to be there. So she is someone, even if she can't, she's someone who genuinely wants to be there for you, and that's what I appreciate her. You know who you are, girl.
That's awesome.
What about you?
Well, this is not a cliche. My best friend passed.
Ah, that's right.
Your dad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he was first he was a gentleman and a scholar, and he actually learned to love me with the love of the Lord. I mean, this man really loved me like I know he showed me God's love. And sometimes that can be where even the toughest things, he had to say some of the toughest things, the kindest things. He taught me a lot. We had just such a great relationship. I mean, I could just be myself with him. And I never forget when he told me, he said, you know what? I can just be myself with you. And we just did some crazy stuff. But and we just shared some dark secrets. And he was my best friend. So, I lost him. And so now I'm learning how to embrace other people, as my friends. of course, they won't be as close as your dad, but I'm just learning how to just receive friendships that that God wants me to receive right now. And even in this season, not to push them away, but to embrace them.
That is so good.
Don't push them away, but to welcome them in, especially during this season of being a widow. So I'm learning how to welcome people in, and it's so funny that it's weird. It's not weird, it's God. It's God that will use this situation for me to reconnect with people that were I would say they were my friends. They were my friends, but we drew apart because of life and situations and things like that. But it's so awesome how God is reconnecting me with friends.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, they'll come back around this season. They'll still be my ride or die, and I'm so grateful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that this situation caused you to lose some people, but it sounds like it also caused you to gain some people.
Yes.
Which is awesome to hear, because to your point, I think sometimes we allow trauma from the past and maybe someone doing us wrong in the past in terms of friendships, especially people that we were deeply, deeply hurt by or betrayed by, like the absolute betrayal or whatever. It keeps you from moving forward and finding other friends and reconnecting with good people.
Yeah.
So for me, that honestly inspires me to just stay open.
Yes.
And, understand that new friendships might arise, be open to reconnecting with other friends, and, just leaving that door open. I have to tell this story. I don't know if I actually put this out there, to be honest. But it's funny you mentioned traumas, because I went through a trauma with a friend where I had this person literally just stop talking to me.
Oh, wow.
Out of nowhere. Like, I don't know what happened. We haven't discussed it. I've voiced that I'm open to discussing it. I've voiced that, I'm here. I'm a listening ear if there's something that I did. So, but to this day, when I think about meeting new friends and moving forward, I don't think about that person.
No.
Like, that's them. That's not everybody else.
Yes.
I would say that that's me, but I don't know what I did yet. So usually I can own it. I can take accountability. But right now it's like, well, you know what? That's their choice.
Yeah.
To move forward without my friendship. They don't want it. I won't offer it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we see love or friendship as something that you wasted time on, or I wasted so much time on that friendship. I didn't waste it. I gave it.
Yes.
They just mishandled it.
Yeah. Now, say that again.
I didn't waste it. Now, mind you, that God does say not to, spread your, pearls amongst swine, but I didn't waste it. I vetted. I made sure this person was someone I could trust. We spent time together. We were friends for years. Known her for like 10 years.
But what happened?
But I gave friendship, and she mishandled it.
That is such a big mishandled friendship.
I gave you an alley-oop, and you didn't even take the shot. You ran with the ball. Like, I don't know if you sports fans out there.
Yeah.
But I gave you something that was valuable to me. I did what I feel I was supposed to do. I opened the door for communication. I gave forgiveness. You know what I mean? I kept the door open. All of those things. I did everything that I know to do and that I felt led by God to do. But if they choose not to, take that, or they choose to mishandle what you gave, especially if it's something that's precious to you and they know it's precious to you, then that is their choice. That is their decision. God bless you. And you move forward.
Yes, that is so great, Jennifer. And you are a great friend. I can say that. I see how you've handled your friendships and how you just really genuinely love people, and you really, you give. You are a giving person. So yeah, they mishandled that. Okay.
Fumbled the bag.
Yes, they mishandled that.
So with that being said, because now I'm on the market for some new friends, what's the best way to meet new friends and make new friends?
Well, for me, it has always been church.
Okay.
Good friends at church, because, you want to connect with people that have the same faith that you have, learning the same thing that you learn. I always think that is just so, so important.
I'm working on
that. It could also be your place of work, and then even in that instance or situation, you take things slow. And I think sometimes we want friends so bad that we'll pour everything into someone, and like you're saying, they'll mishandle that. With certain friendships, you have to really, just take it slow. It's like you throw out something and then you throw out something else, and you'll see how it comes back to you, how it's reciprocated. But sometimes your closest friend can be right in front of you.
That's true.
Sometimes your closest friend can be right in front of you. So again, it goes back to what you're saying. Just stay open. Stay open to what God wants you to do, how he wants you to do it, and just be open to receive. Like I'm learning how to receive friends.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'll trust them with my life or trust them with my innermost secret or anything like that, but I'm learning to receive their friendship, and I'm not going to mishandle that.
Right.
So I think those are places where you can find friends, as church, work. You just never know.
Yeah.
But the thing is mainly just to stay open. Stay open.
This is a good time to kind of drop an extra little question in there. It's something we can
Drop
just
it.
real quick.
Drop it.
What are some characteristics of a good positive friend? Like, what does a good friend, because you mentioned kind of throwing out a line and giving it time to make sure it builds, but sometimes you connect with someone so fast you just run with it. And I think that it's important for us to take a step back and look at, okay, what are some good characteristics of a good friend? It's better if I start, because I have a couple of them.
Well, I want you to start. I was just going to say, I'm going to let you answer your own question, because like you're saying, you are open to friendships. You're open to new friends.
Yeah.
So what would you look for in a friend?
That's a good... Now it's like you put me on the spot. So now I can't think. No, I would say that first of all, I do think it's important that I have good friendships with people who are spiritually sound.
Yes.
I think that it's good to be equally yoked. I am open to friends that are of different religions, obviously, but I think that as long as our values are the same, that's important, and that's something that we can learn about, with each other. I think that having friends that have good integrity.
Yes.
That just have character, that care about character and integrity. I even stayed at Mercy, what are you doing when no one's watching?
Yes.
I think that's important, because if they're not in my presence, I want to be able to trust that they're talking good about me. I want to be able to trust that they have my best interests at heart, that they're not gossiping about me.
Yes.
That they're not putting negative things about me that are out there or betraying me behind my back. Like people who have good character and integrity, people who are loyal. And I think that comes over time. But I think in order to be truly loyal, you have to learn how to forgive well.
Right.
So people who are gracious. But I think last thing, because I feel like the list is getting long, but I think one of my big pillars of friendship is being able to be myself. I want to be able to be myself around you. I want to be able to joke. I want to be able to laugh. Clearly I talk a lot. So, tell me to shut up but don't try to dim my light at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, just being able to totally be myself, be my goofy self, be my bougie self, be my, sweatshirt and hat self when I want to be. Let me be Jen, because Jen is something.
Jen is enough. Jen is enough. But it goes back to real quick this saying that I saw on Instagram, and it talked about God saying that these people left your life. I moved them because you didn't hear the conversations that they were saying about you in the dark.
Absolutely.
And so that's like you're saying, a person of integrity, and a person of integrity, period, knows that at all time, if nobody's watching, who's watching? God is watching.
The Lord
is watching.
Yes, he is.
And that's the one you have to answer to in the end. So I think those are some great characteristics. I agree with all those characteristics of a friend. Those are very, very important characteristics to have. So yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Just one thing, if you're listening out there, if you're watching on YouTube, and you have disconnected from friends that were honestly really good friends, and maybe the reasons really weren't that valid or that good, or maybe you were listening to others. This is your sign. If you're listening to this is your sign.
Yes.
If you feel like God has been speaking to you to reach back out to that person and reconnect, do it today. There's too many people just dropping off the face of this earth. And we pray God's protection over everybody. You know what I mean? But you never know what people might be going through, and you never know what might happen in life. Time is just so valuable.
Very valuable.
And you don't want that to be something that's hanging over your head. So if this is you and you feel like God has been speaking to you on it, make that step. Even if you weren't the one in the wrong. Right. Make that step toward reconnection. Open that door and allow God to reconnect those genuine friendships.
Yes. Very important.
Yes.
Breathe in some love and let yourself unfold.
Each episode will end with affirmations we can all focus on around this topic. Right now, the topic is friendship. We all know affirmations help set the intention for our day and our week, so feel free to add these as a part of your daily routine.
I'm a friend and show myself to be friendly.
I receive the gift of friendship.
I will not allow past failed friendships stop me from embracing new friends.
I will allow God to guide me to the places to find new friends and trust Him to help me identify true friends.
God has equipped me with everything I need.
I am enough.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Like Mother, Not Like Daughter podcast. We hope that the conversations will help you bridge the gap from one generation to the next in your family.
We look forward to sharing our next episode. You
What's
got
that
to eat
called?
money.
You got eating our money.
You got to eat our money. Lessons on financial independence. And now look, we're not experts. We're just going to do our best to give you what we believe God has given us on that topic.
Yes.
You can listen to the recap of this episode and all episodes on all podcast platforms.
Yes.
But in the meantime, continue to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Until next time,
Have a great day.
have a great day.
I like the way you do it.